This is the life cycle of the Nephrolepis. This part is a little bit tough, not like the life cycle of the Pogonatum, but we'll try our best to complete this part also. Nephrolepis belongs to phylum Pterophyta, which is a vascular seedless plant. Vascular means it contains both xylem and phloem, seedless, no seeds, right? Here, this plant contains both the Sporophyte and the gametophyte, but Sporophyte is a little bit special. It is the dominant plant here. The gametophyte is reduced and short-lived. Both the Sporophyte and gametophyte are independent and also both are photosynthetic. Now let's come to Sporophyte of the Nephrolepis. Okay, this Sporophyte contains some complex structures. In the resource book, they have given a point like this Sporophyte is differentiated into roots, stem and leaves. Okay, let's divide this part and study. Differentiated into roots, okay, and then stem. What about the stem? They have underground rhizome. This underground rhizome will produce underground branches, long underground branches. We call them as stolon. And the leaves here, they contain compound pinnate leaves and fiddle-headed young leaves. Okay, the two types of leaves here are compound pinnate leaves and fiddle-headed young leaves. And also, this contain a cuticle which is found in the aerial parts. And the stomata are here to gaseous exchange. And as I told you, this is a vascular plant, so it contains xylem and phloem both. Okay, only these are the complex structures. These are the complex structures of the Sporophyte. Now let's move to the Sporangia. These Sporangia are developed as clusters. This cluster is known as sori, which present underside of the leaflet and which is covered by the indusium, which protect the young Sporophyte by desiccation. Sporangium will produce spores. These spores are homosporous. I said that the sori is present underside of the leaflet. Okay, and this contains an indusium. Sorry, it covered by an indusium. Okay, the singular word of the sori is sorus. So the sorus get matured and the indusium, which covers the indusium, will dries up and shrives and expose the mature sporangia. And then what happens? The spores should release out. So how they release the spores? They release the spores in dry conditions. That means within the dry condition, the sporangium wall ruptures and the spores will release to the external environment. The spores which released into the external environment, that means it will go to a favorable habitat and it will grow into a gametophyte. So now we'll study about the gametophyte. Gametophyte contains antheridia and the archegonium, which will develop on the ventral side. Okay, antheridia will produce flagellated sperms and the archegonium produce the egg, which is retained within itself. Okay. Now I said you all that antheridia will produce flagellated sperms which will release into the environment, right? And as you all know, that means as we studied in the Pogonatum, the archegonium will release a chemical attractant will attract the flagellated sperms towards itself for the process of fertilization. Okay, here also same process happens. Okay, the archegonium will release a chemical attractant to attract the flagellated sperms toward itself and the process of fertilization occur here. And then the diploid zygote formed. The zygote will develop into an embryo and then the embryo will develop into a young sporophyte. This young sporophyte will retain within the gametophyte. And then this sporophyte will develops into a photosynthetic tissues. The young sporophyte will develop its photosynthetic tissues and it will become the independent plants. That's all about the life cycle of the Nephrolepis.